Hey guys, so today I'm going to do the PlayStation 4 collection. Now this is just going to be my physical copies, as I don't quite, I'm not able to record the screen on my PlayStation for the digital copies, but I do have a few of them written down. So again, this is just going to be the physical ones for the PS4 there. So I think we're going to just start off with Grand Theft Auto. This is probably one of my favorite games that I have. It's made by developer Rockstar, who every single one of their games that they make is just incredible. I mean, I don't know anyone who hasn't played one of the Grand Theft Auto games for the PlayStation 2 or, PlayStation 3, and they just all seem to be so well done. The online multiplayer, while it's kind of chaotic, it's a lot of fun to play. And, one of my favorite parts about this game is, just how different all of the characters are. They all kind of do their own things. If you look inside the case, it's got the map of the whole world, which is just so much. A lot of games don't give you a manual or anything to look at anymore, so it's really nice that you actually get, something to look at, something to read in the car on the way home. And yeah, the map is just so big. You can do so much in this game, and I just think that it's so well made, and if you haven't played it, then it's definitely worth a pickup, because any game that Rockstar seems to make, they seem to do such a good job at it. So, next up is going to be Tom Clancy's The Division. Now, this game received a lot of flack from a lot of people, including a lot of critics, and didn't get reviewed the best, but I had a lot of fun with it. Now, it's a game where, I had a couple buddies that would play it, and, it was a lot of fun just being able to coordinate our attacks. We could strategize the missions. The gameplay itself I found was a lot of fun. There was a lot of complaints seemingly about the end game content and what there was to do when you beat it, but I'm just not as active as a gamer, that when I got to the end game, I was basically done with the game. The online function can be a little tough to deal with at times, just because of you get some of the higher level people picking on the older ones, but it was a lot of fun. So Fallout 4. Now, this is made by Bethesda, who, if you've never played any of the other Fallout games, it's just so much fun to play. The storyline in this game is incredible, and you get a lot of fun glitches with some of the characters, where they don't have a face, or the dialogue just doesn't make any sense, but it's almost what you come to love about the game. is some of its quirks. But, you know, the storyline's kind of funny. It's a fun game to play. You know, it offers some customization options. You know, being able to build your own base is a lot of fun in it. And I think they did a really good job with it. And if you've never played a Fallout game, I definitely recommend picking this one up if you can get it for fairly cheap. So next up we got Overwatch, the Origins edition. Now this game's made by Blizzard, which tells you right there that it's worth buying. Blizzard's just an excellent company. They make amazing games, and the multiplayer in this game is so much fun to play. There's so many different levels to it. Anybody can just pick it up and play it. You don't have to be, you know, crazy skilled to play as some of the characters. But to master them is just so much more difficult. As you can see, I have the French version. It's one of the perks of living in Canada, I guess. But it's not really that big of a deal. It's one of the only copies that they had left. Just because the game was so popular, it sold out of all the English ones so quickly. Now, I don't have as much time to dedicate to the game, but it's just so much fun to play, and I think that, you know, I just want to support the developers, and if you've never played this game, it's definitely worth picking up. You know, it gives you a great experience, and yeah, you can definitely play it for a lot of time. The characters in it look really good. They're really cool. You can customize them all. Yeah, it's a good game. So next up, we got The Last of Us, the remastered edition by Naughty Dog. This is probably, in my opinion, the best game made for the PlayStation. I had so much fun playing this game. The story in it is probably the best. Probably one of the best storylines, in my opinion. It's so deep. The dialogue in it isn't, you know, it isn't repetitive. It isn't bland. It isn't boring. You're not kind of looking to skip the cutscenes. It's one of the few games where I found myself actually not skipping any of the cutscenes just because I wanted to see what happened to Joel and Ellie. I can't wait for The Last of Us 2 to come out. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play. Dragon Age Inquisition. Now, if you're a big RPG fan, you have probably heard of this game before. In fact, you've probably played it. It's a lot of fun. There is a ton of customization in it. The characters are well fleshed out. The story is kind of only so-so in my books. I wasn't really hugely sold on the story. But at the same time, you know, if you're a fan of the previous Dragon Age games, you probably really enjoyed it. I had never played them, so it wasn't something that I was, you know, familiar with. But there's just so much customization in it with, you know, different types of characters, with, you know, a mage, or, you know, just a warrior, and the characters that you meet along the way that you can take as on your team. I just thought it was really cool, and, you know, I thought it was a good game. I really liked how it played. And yeah, if you've never played it and you have a lot of time to kill, it's definitely worth it. So next up we have Metal Gear Solid: The Phantom Pain. Now, this game I mean, I guess I've been saying it about almost all these games, but that's really the reason I buy them, is this game's story is incredible. It's so well fleshed out, and Konami, I mean, every single time they put out a Metal Gear game, they really just nail it. I mean, you know, it's got a good storyline to it. The game mechanics in it are very, very easy to use. And I mean, it's a lot of fun to play with. You get a dog. There's so many different ways that you can approach every level. And, you know, the way that I beat a level would be completely different than the way that you would beat it. You can capture enemy guys and bring them to your base. You can upgrade your bases. You can just do so much with this game that I think that, you know, all Konami games are worth a purchase. And, you know, like other games, it comes with a booklet. Now, the booklet doesn't really tell you very much, but it does come with a booklet. And like I was saying earlier, I don't think enough games do. I think it's something that it really needs to come back. Because some of my best experiences when I was younger are, you know, getting a drive home with mom in the car and reading the booklet about the game on the way. Battlefield 4, made by DICE and EA, obviously. Now, this game, I don't really know how to say this. This game almost could ruin DICE just because it's so well done. This game nails it. Everything about this game online is so much fun to play. The campaign on it is excellent. It's got really good, you know, a really good storyline to it, and the online for it is so much fun to play. If you have a group of guys or girls or just anyone, but if you have a group of people that you're playing with, you can really, you know, you can really have a good time with it. We've been, you know, me and my friends have been playing it since launch almost, and yeah, we still pick it up. You know, I bought Battlefield 1. I didn't buy Hardline, but I bought 1, and I ended up returning it just because Battlefield 4 was just so, it was just so much better. It was perfect. And yeah, it's one of those games where, you know, you can pick it up. I mean, they've put out 2 games since then, and yeah, people still play this one just because it's so well done. It also comes with a booklet, but you know, it doesn't really tell you very much in it. But yeah, it's just one of those games that I don't think it's going to go out of style, and it's going to be really hard for them to beat it because it's just so well done. So next up, we have Bloodborne. Now, Bloodborne, I can without a doubt say is probably the hardest game that I have ever played. This game is so deep and so challenging. It's just so frustrating at times. I mean, it only has one difficulty setting, so the experience, which is nice because the experience is the same for everybody. But the characters are just so hard to beat. It's such a strategic game in the sense that you'll go through a level and you'll die, you know, 50 times for myself. And each time you die, you get a little bit further because you know more what to do. So you really have to piece together the levels, because if you think you're just going to walk through and beat it on the first time, which, I'm sure people out there can do, I definitely can't. You're in for a rude awakening, because this game is going to challenge you, and it's not going to let you just win on the first try. But yeah, I got this game for extremely cheap, and I just really wanted to see for myself how tough it was. I never played any Dark Souls games, but yeah, this game definitely pushed me to my limits. I still haven't beat it, and I probably never will, but it was definitely worth picking up. So Far Cry 4, the limited edition. Now, I picked this up when it was on sale on the PlayStation Store, but I went to EB Games and picked up the physical copy because I figured that I would play it for a bit, get bored of it, and then just trade it in for something new. But that didn't happen. I actually really enjoyed this game. It was a lot of fun to play. The storyline is, it's not perfect. The dialogue in it isn't great, but the gameplay mechanics I found were really fun. It was a fun game to pick up. You can wingsuit around the map, listen to the different radio stations. You can go hunting, or you can just do missions. And yeah, it was a lot of fun to play. I had never played the previous Far Cry games, so I thought I'd pick it up, and had a lot of fun with it. Now, Assassin's Creed Unity. Now, this game gets a lot of flack, but it's, I actually enjoyed it. It's nothing special. I mean, it is, after all, just an Assassin's Creed game, which, they essentially just put out every year. But, I hadn't bought a lot of the previous Assassin's Creed games, and I was able to pick this one up for $7, so I just kind of went for it, and I had a lot of fun with it. I beat the campaign, which essentially was very repetitive. It was kind of go to this spot, do this, but in different locations. But at the same time, it was a lot of fun, and I did like that you could play online and do some of the missions with your friends. It was nice being able to play with some of my online friends, and we were able to do some of the campaign together. So yeah, it wasn't a bad game. Now, No Man's Sky. This is an interesting game. So I bought this day one. I bought into the hype of what the game was going to be and what it was shown at E3. I thought it looked really cool, and I wanted to give it a shot. I wanted to like it really badly, and I did like it. It was fun. For the first, I would say, 4 or 5 hours, I was having a lot of fun with it. The planets are all fairly different. I mean, the composition of them and what to do on the planets was the exact same, and very repetitive. And the ending is total garbage. But, it's very colorful. It's visually pleasing. The sounds of it are nice. It does sound good. It looks good. And, you know, it was fun to play. It's just, it wasn't really the game that they promised. Now, with the updates that they're putting out with it, it should be a better game. But at the same time, it's almost too late because there's just been so much negative press and, you know, returns from the consumers. I don't think, you know, when the game is actually fully fleshed out, I don't really think that there's going to be a user base left to play the final game. But I'm hanging on to it, and, you know, maybe when it's all done, it'll be a good game. So we have Guitar Hero Live, and I absolutely loved the original Guitar Hero games and the Rock Band games. I played them so much growing up, and it actually really helped me get into real guitar. So I really wanted to like this when the new game was coming out for the PlayStation 4. However, I hated it. They went to this 3, or it's like 6 frets, but it's like 3 up and 3 down, as opposed to the original 5 colors. And I hate it. It's hard to pick out the notes when you're playing on expert. You know, when they're coming in quickly, it's hard to differentiate them, even though they are black and white. And I don't think it simulates a real guitar any more than the original Guitar Hero guitar did. So I don't know why they actively went out and changed it. I think they kind of dropped the ball on it a little bit, just trying to change it up just for the sake of changing it. And I really hope they go back with it on the next one, but I really doubt that they will. So, the NHL series. Now, I buy this game every year. I'm one of those guys. I play Hut and, you know, a bit of Be a Pro, and also the whatchamacallit, the EA online season with online team mode. I can't think of the name, Hockey League, I think it's called. But anyway, so I buy yearly just so I can play those game modes. And, I mean, this is a good NHL game. I definitely like it more than 16. The menus load a lot faster. And it's really the only NHL game that there is, so, I mean, you don't really have too many options when it comes to what you're going to pick up. So next up we have MLB The Show. Now I have the MLB 16, and I will be buying 17. I just only had the physical copy of this one, so I figured I would just kind of show it. But yeah, I always buy the newest ones for hockey and baseball, just because they're so much fun, and they're my 2 favorite sports. So I've been carrying a Be a Pro career in MLB since MLB 13. So next up we have Madden. Now this is Madden 15, obviously. I do have the newest Madden. I picked it up when it went on sale over Christmas. But yeah, it's a fun game. I mean, I don't play it online or anything, but it is fun. And lastly, for physical copies, I have FIFA 15. Now, I'm not a huge soccer fan. I am friends with a couple people who are big soccer fans. So he had just an old copy of FIFA 15 laying around. So he just gave it to me because he buys the new ones every year. So I've played it a bit, but nothing too crazy. I'm not a huge soccer fan, but from everything that I hear online, it is probably one of the best games that EA makes. So that was it for my physical copies. Now I do have some digital copies of games that I figured I would just give a shout out to real quick. And while I do so, I can just sort of play with one of the boxes here. So I did buy Destiny, and I wanted to love it because of 343 Studios, and I love the Halo series. But I just think that they kind of ruined it. They made it too difficult to play by yourself. Not everyone has 6 friends that they're able to do a raid with online, that all have 4+ hours to play. So it is kind of tough in that sense. I also have Drive Club, which was a racing game by an independent developer. And I think as far as racing games go, I don't really think there's a huge selection, but it is so much fun to play, and I would recommend it to anyone looking just to pick up a good racing simulator, because the graphics on it are incredible. I also bought Ratchet and Clank online, just because there was a good sale for it. And also because I loved the PlayStation 2 game. So I wanted to kind of relive it since it's a remaster. And they did an absolutely fantastic job with it. The gameplay is incredible. The visuals for it are amazing. And, it has the kooky weapons of, the disco ball where all your enemies break out into dance mid-fight. It's just a lot of fun to play. And if you've never played the series, I would definitely recommend picking it up. And I guess the last one that I'll mention is I picked up Steep, which is the snowboarding, skiing, wingsuit, and paragliding game that recently came out. And I don't really agree with all the hate that the game has been getting, because I think it's actually really well done. The visuals on it look great. It doesn't have much of a story, but it doesn't really need one. And, it's one of those games that you can kind of turn off your brain. You can do missions or the campaign mode if that's what you're looking for. Or you can just, set yourself on top of a mountain and ski down it. And, the area, the map itself is huge. You can ride on the trails for a long time, and again, the visuals, they just look really good. No, it's not SSX tricky, but for a realistic skiing simulator, I think they do a really good job with it. So that's where I'll end my video. I want to thank you guys all for watching, and I hope you guys have a good night.